Hey, and welcome to another edition of What's Next with Joey McGuire. I'm Robert Giovannetti alongside the head coach. And, Coach, you've had a busy couple of weeks, right? People think with the team off, and now we're in finals, but you've been on the road. You've spoke to a couple alumni groups. You were down in Houston. Tell us how those events went.
Yeah, it's been incredible. The turnout, the excitement, leading into that. I mean, we were able to announce that we were sold out again on season tickets, so I can't thank our fan base enough for having our backs and once again showing up for another really good season. It's going to be a great season. But, man, I did an event in Austin with the alumni chapter in Austin, and that was a great event. We got rained on. But I was out in the middle of it. I'm going to tell you, those guys were playing golf in the rain, so I went out there and encouraged them in the rain. It got soaked. And then
did you encourage?
Well, there was one guy that was wearing a white belt. We've got a rule around here. If you're going to wear a white belt to play golf, you got to be really good. So you either are really bad at karate, wearing a white belt, or you're really good in golf wearing a white belt. No, he was terrible. I told him he had to take that white belt off. You can't come out here in a white belt and hit the ball like that.
Maybe he was good at karate wearing the wrong.
He just had the wrong belt on. I don't know. And then I did an event. It was awesome. The event at Dripping Springs, and did a Q&A with Danny Amendola, one of my favorite guys. So that was a lot of fun. And then did the Houston Touchdown Club. It was a great Red Raider group, and got to see BJ, and got to tell a story about him that Archie Manning told me in Vegas for the award ceremony about BJ. So I thought that was.
Can you tell it here? It
was great. So I'd never met Archie Manning, and Mark Ball took me over to meet him, and not Archie Manning, the quarterback at Texas, but his grandfather. And so he goes, the head coach at Texas Tech, man, I told our AD not to schedule a home and home against y'all. And it was when Eli was playing.
Right.
And so whenever we beat them there, I think it was like 49-45, we beat them there after the game. Eli and Peyton would always talk on the phone. And Peyton asked him, how did the game go? And he goes, well, we got beat. And he goes, well, how did you do? And he goes, man, I threw 3 touchdowns, 400-something yards. And he goes, that was great. He goes, yeah, the only problem is the Texas Tech quarterback threw for 600-something yards and 5 touchdowns. It was like, yeah, you got outplayed there. And so, I mean, that's what BJ did to everybody that year. It was absolutely incredible.
Not to take away from Eli, too, but our own Ryan Aycock, who's a local guy, Coronado, played here. He had a great interception of Eli in that game that was kind of a key turning point as well.
Yeah.
So it was that's a big win. So I'm curious, when you go speak to groups like that, what do you like? Do you prepare? Do you just off the cuff guy? What's your preparation like for those?
Off the cuff, a lot like you. I think I really haven't.
I've never seen you with a note ever.
Yeah, I've only probably had. There's very few times. Like I do have in my head a couple of different things I'm going to talk about. I told a couple of stories. I talked about the facility. Of course, talked about the team, and then open up for questions because everybody wants to know. How's Barron's shoulder? How's our offensive line? How's our defensive line? Is the portal guys that we brought in that good? All that stuff. So usually I tell a couple of stories about what has happened over this last year, and then get into the team.
Yeah, I find it fascinating about you because you never have a note. You remember everybody's name. You remember all these things. So were you a great student in when you were going to school?
There are different times. I've always had a pretty good memory. I always feel like I do. I feel like that if you gave me a schedule, even from 1994 till now, and we walked through the game, I could probably tell you, what the score was, but if you give me the score, what plays we scored on, how we won the game, how we lost the game, different things like that of every game that I've coached in, so like stuff like that. And then, man, I love the Red Raider. I mean, I love talking. People always like, man, you're probably tired of talking about the football team and everything. No, man, I can talk football and Texas Tech football 24/7, and so, excited. And everybody is really, I think Red Raiders are always excited, but everybody's really excited about the potential of this football team.
Hey, we were talking about that yesterday, that, look, if somebody was going to criticize you, they're like, hey, Joey always gets us fired up at the beginning of the year, and we've had good years since you've been. It's not like you've had a bad year.
Yeah.
But you and I were having this conversation a couple of days ago. We embrace this, right? We're going to be really good this year, and you embrace that.
Yeah, and my deal is like I don't believe in this coach talk. You've got a lot of coaches that will be like, oh shucks, we're going to be man. I think you're discounting your players and all the hard work they're putting in. I think you're trying to temper excitement, and what you're really trying to do if you're trying to temper excitement is you're trying to take less pressure off of you.
Right.
At the end of the day, I believe in what we do. I believe in our players. I know things have to go the right way. I go back to year 2. Let us play with the one quarterback the entire year that's healthy, and I don't think we're 7-6. Going into that year, I had healthy quarterbacks, so my excitement is going to come across that I believe in our players, and so I think I've had that criticism even whenever I was in high school, and because I felt the same way, and whenever we're going to be good, and it wasn't an arrogance or anything like that. I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it from the standpoint of that I'm really excited about this team and what we have in front of us.
Hey, I think I'd rather have a coach that's like, yeah, man, we're going to be good and excited. Enough then, I don't know, we might get, we're going to have.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden everybody's surprised. Oh, that was a neat deal.
No.
I mean, that's it. Really, when people do that, it's the coaches trying to take pressure off themselves, and if it does go bad, well, you remember I said I didn't know how good we were going to be and everything like that. Like, you're going to get criticism one way or the other, whether you win or lose or whatever. And so I'm just going to try to breathe life into my team and what we believe,
Yeah. So you're on the road. So take us through. So you go to Austin at Dripping Springs and then Houston, but apparently did they not feed you? You were too busy talking. You didn't get to eat.
Too busy talking. They had food. They had plenty of food. They had a lot of food at Dripping Springs.
You're telling us you're on your way to. So how far is it from Dripping Springs to Houston?
Oh, it was probably like 2.5 hours. Maybe.
Oh, so
it wasn't bad.
That's a day in the park for you.
Yeah, it was easy. It was easy. I mean, my thought process by the time I drove, by the time I would get on a plane and everything, it'd be pretty much this same amount of time of getting to the airport and all this stuff. So I was like, man, I'll just drive it. I left Dripping Springs about 8:40, and again, I'd done the event and didn't eat and was talking and everything, so I was a little hungry, and so I'm driving down the road and I'm getting to LaGrange, Texas, great town, big fan of their head football coach because he saved me, but. So I see McDonald's and I pull off the highway into LaGrange and there's a Taco Bell, man. I'm like, I'm gonna get some Taco Bell. CJIU's a big Taco Bell fan. I'm gonna go ahead and.
What's your Taco Bell go-to?
Oh, I'm gonna get a couple of soft tacos. I'm gonna get bean burrito, no onions with sour cream. Get a couple of those. Get a drink and ready to go.
Okay, so you're on your way to Taco Bell.
Yeah, the only criticism that I have is there is a false turn-in that they need to fix.
Maybe they'll watch the show and get it done.
I hope they do because it had been raining for 2 days in the area.
Yeah.
And so I pull into the false turn-in. It is concreted. It's paved until you're 10 yards into the turn-in, and now it goes straight grass. They didn't finish it. They have another way to get into the parking lot. By the way, it's not curbed either, so there's an opening, but they have rebar up. So once I pulled in, I start getting stuck. I can't gas it to try to get through.
Right.
So I put it in reverse, start going out. If you've ever seen my cousin Vinny, whenever he gets stuck in the mud, I'm in a Suburban. I get the Suburban stuck in the mud, and I can't get out. And so, long story short, I call Kenny Perry, the great Kenny Perry, and he says, I know the head coach in LaGrange. Let me call him. This is about 10:30 at night. He has a young man that played for him at one point that's got a 4x4 that now it's about 11:30 to 11:45 at night. He finally pulls me out of the mud. So I can't thank those guys enough for getting me out of that. But you can imagine, I was in slacks and some tennis shoes. I had mud everywhere. That Suburban had mud all over it.
You're telling us about a kid who tried to help you. Did he know who you were, the kid? Did he have an idea?
No, the kid, whenever I flagged down a young man that was pulling into Taco Bell. He wanted Taco Bell also. And he had like a 1970-something Chevy truck, and I was going to get him to push me back to where maybe I could get far enough back to where the wheels would catch the cement. And he started getting stuck because his was rear-wheel drive also. And so I was like, man, don't get stuck. So he comes out, and
he's like, I just wanted to make some
phone calls, man. That's all I wanted, man.
I didn't want to help this guy. I just wanted to get a burrito and go back to my house.
So about 1:30 in the morning, I pull into Houston in my hotel, and the crazy thing was when I get in and I'm checking in, the great Zane Perry, our equipment head of equipment, is in the hotel because they're having an equipment convention, and he's down with a couple of the other guys. One guy from Oklahoma State's down there, and he's like, Coach, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing here? And I tell him the story. I got mud everywhere.
Yeah, I was just saying, he probably thought, where the heck's he been?
He was. He's like,
Hey, you're talking about the high school coach at LaGrange. A couple weeks ago, we were at the Texas Tech chapter of the College Football Hall of Fame, the National Football Foundation, and a lot of high school coaches there. You spoke at that. What a great event that too. And it shows the impact. I think we had 22 young men that were getting scholarships. What a cool night that is. What a cool thing to be a part of as well.
Yeah, it's the best, to recognize these young men, because it's, it's not just recognizing their athletic ability, but those guys, man, crushed it in the classroom.
Oh my gosh,
and they give the help. It's great for our Lubbock community and West Texas community to be able to help these guys out as far as scholarships, to help them, at the next level. And so I love that event, and you get to see all the high school coaches, the head coaches and the assistant coaches from around West Texas. And, a couple guys, the head coach at Post got honored as the head coach of the year. And so I love that event.
Coach Davis, the coach of Friendship, got honored. And I was just thinking when you were telling that story, and he told some stories that night, that when you have a coaches conference or whatever, how does anyone get awarded edgewise? Because all you guys, you must have just a million stories like that, right? Of traveling and just travel problems and people you've come across. It's pretty fascinating. And when you get that, when you probably get a group like that together, it's probably a pretty good time.
Yeah. Well, you hear some great stories, know, and you hear that. I'll tell you, listen to different stories and everything, but the great Gordon Wood, who was a head coach at Brownwood, who's one of the greatest high school coaches in any state of all time, 400 plus wins. He used to go whenever he would travel, and he would go into a gas station or wherever he would stop. He would say, man, I can't think of your head coach's name. I know him, but I can't think of his name. What's his name? And it'd be like, Coach Perry. Oh, man, you know how lucky you are to have Coach Perry. Coach Perry, man, he is such a great guy. And so he would go in and tell the people of the community how lucky they were, whether the guy was winning or losing or anything like that, because it is such a hard job. And
that's pretty awesome.
I don't know how many stories I haven't heard any stories where they came back and go, man, that guy's terrible. What are you talking about?
Right.
But he would always do that. There's just so many stories.
Did you ever go up against him?
No, I was in high school whenever he was.
I didn't know when he retired.
Yeah. No, I never got
to face him. You're not that old.
No, I actually, going up against him, I played on teams that where he was coaching and I was playing whenever I was at Crowley. We were in district together. But man, that guy was just a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend. The stadium's named after him there, right?
Yeah.
And just was really impactful, obviously, in the game. But it was fun to see that. You're always great at that, and we always get to hear from one of the young kids, and they're always good, right? They're always, they pick the best and brightest there to get up and speak. So it's a cool night. And we also talked about the fact that Graham Harrell's going into the National Football College Football Hall of Fame as well. So that's pretty cool for Tech.
Yeah,
and his dad. I know you're good friends with his dad too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really proud of Graham. It's a great honor. When you look at, I saw something the other day where they were talking about single seasons, and Zappy is number one. Yeah. He beat BJ's, but then you look, it had like the top 10, and I think Graham has 3 of the top 10 seasons ever in the history of college football. So not surprised that he's going into the Hall of Fame.
Hey, BJ played half that season on a torn ACL, too,
yeah.
So that's pretty amazing when you look back on his career and what he did. BJ's a stud.
He is tough guy.
Yeah, you mentioned that season tickets sold out, and we're selling single-game tickets now. I was talking to a guy, a great supporter of ours, Chris Hudson of Texas Tech Federal Credit Union. We were talking about the crowd environment, and he was like, hey, turn that music up. And I said, did Coach McGuire tell you to say that? He goes, no. He goes, I love the atmosphere with music up and everything else. And so it has become kind of the place to be.
It is, and it makes it makes a difference. It makes such a big difference, and it's frustrating. I go back and I think of the 2 losses that we had here at home, and what an opportunity in that Colorado game. The atmosphere in my 3 years, I thought that was the kind of the craziest atmosphere I'd been a part of at home. Really even crazier in the first year when we beat Texas. Now, the ending was probably crazier because we won the game. But the Colorado game, you could just feel the electricity, but we need that every week. And then we've got to play well at home. That's going to be one of our goals this year is go undefeated. We've got 7 home games and go 7-0 here at Jones AT&T.
That Colorado game, you think about Big Noon was here. Just that whole day, it was just a great way to put Texas Tech on display.
No doubt.
Yeah, it was fun, and you even you took a shot when when they honored the official at the high school deal. You even got a.
Oh yeah. I had to give him. I had to give. Yeah. I have a love hate relationship with most officials, and and so of course they honor a high school official every year. And it was funny. He ended it with throwing the right flag and making sure if it's not the right flag, picking it up.
Pick it up, yeah.
I just made it a point, man. There should have been a couple of flags being picked up in that Colorado game. It would have helped us out a little bit.
Yeah. Way too early poll from ESPN had Tech 16th in the country, and it's good to see people are noticing what's happening here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting whenever the AP poll comes out. Like it's all going to be, does our returners and our guys that we brought in from the portal class give reporters enough thought of us being in the top 25? And so, again, I'm going to get excited. Yeah. I would love to be in the top 25 starting the year, but if not, we're going to work our way into it, and see how where we
better
end
at the end of the year to be there, right, than the beginning.
No
of the
doubt,
year.
No doubt.
So a couple things I also want to talk about. We're at Texas Tech. We talked about softball before. They're going to try to win the Big 12
play at 1:30 today
as we're shooting this. You had a cool deal you did with Adam Herendeen for tennis. You shot a little.
That was awesome.
Are you a tennis guy? Have you played any tennis?
Oh, I haven't played since 1991. And I was saying 1991, or I remember it because I played. My roommate and I used to play a lot when we were in college. I haven't played since then, but it stoked the fire. I'm gonna start playing again because I had a lot of fun doing that. And man, what those young ladies are. They are so funny. They have such great energy, and then he did such a great job with them.
He's a great dude as well. But when you look at all that, and then we're seeing these reports that Cody Campbell might be leading this new commission from President Trump to help with college athletics, it kind of shows that, hey, Texas Tech this just isn't a one-hit wonder. We're kind of here to stay.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, people can easily say, probably especially in our conference, oh, that's going to give Tech an advantage. I'm telling you right now, everybody in the country wants Cody Campbell to be a part of this. He has a very detailed plan to help college athletics. It will help college athletics, and it won't be skewed one way or the other. That's the great thing. I mean, he knows how important this is to get this right and put some guidelines around to help out to make this better, because where we're at right now, we're taking advantage of it, but it's not sustainable. We've got to have some regulations, and it's not just regulations to help the universities. We need regulations to help the kids whenever it comes to, we need agents that are certified. There's some stuff that really need to be talked through about these people that are representing. We've dealt with some great ones, and then you hear a lot of horror stories too. And so I think people need to understand him being a part of this is good for college athletics, but it's also great for somebody that's going to be wearing the double T and us being out front and being represented that way. Yeah,
save me this is an advantage for Texas Tech, right? Because Texas Tech has fought for everything we've ever gotten here at Texas Tech. So when people say that, I chuckle.
Yeah, I do too.
So I am glad he's.
If you wanted to be a part of it, then you should have pushed. And I mean, he's been in the forefront of trying to be a part of this.
Yeah, he is a guy literally putting his money where his mouth is,
Yes.
and then but also wanting to do more than just give financially.
No doubt, no doubt, because he knows what this game's given him. You know, and he does. We're at a crossroads to where we can destroy what this is all about if we don't do it the right way.
Yeah, we need to keep it going. We can't lose college football
Yep.
or college athletics, and this is a good step, I think, in the right
No
direction.
doubt.
All right, Coach. Thanks again. Stay out of the mud. Right? So you always hear stay out of the bar ditch, but maybe
Yeah.
for you it's stay out of the mud. So
No doubt.
for Joey McGuire, I'm Robert Giovannetti. Thanks. That's it for What's Next. Wreck 'em.